She storms.
We're up seas tonight.
It's coming down crazy, yo.
It's gonna rain a lot.
Yeah.
I heard. Probably should have postponed this shit.
Yeah, but like it's gonna be published when.
Watch the power
later.
go out while we're trying to record.
Yeah, I probably should have put like a regular battery in the camera because we got the one that's pluggy dude now. So if the power does go out, we're gonna lose video. But
It is what it is.
it's storming, and we have malts,
It's good shit.
and this is the show. Welcome to this
How
week. It's gonna be a chill one.
This one's gonna start.
It's gonna be a nice, relaxed, easygoing, quiet.
The rain is in the background. You know?
Long. It's like lo-fi. This is lo-fi and chill with a rainy day and two idiots drinking malts and talking about. What are we talking about?
I don't think it's gonna be lo-fi. What are we talking about?
I don't know.
I got a voice memo called Mental Breakdown Edging. And a voice memo called Lint Roller Art.
Good place to start.
Oh, here we go. Here's one. This probably is good and irrelevant.
Yeah, sure.
Let's see. What is this?
George Costanza sucks. Elaborate on this thought
Yeah,
later.
later. Yeah, I'll get to that.
If you couldn't hear that, the whole thing was just him saying George Costanza sucks, and then something about how he'll get to that later.
I said I should elaborate on that later. That was from March 16th.
Excellent.
I don't think I'll be getting to that one.
Who's George Costanza?
From Seinfeld.
What?
I just, for some reason, I was like on a roll about how he was a bad character. Just from the get-go.
I don't know who that is. You just named a man and said that he's terrible.
George Costanza in Seinfeld?
I don't know who that is. I never watched Seinfeld.
Yeah, but I mean, like, almost everyone else in the civilized world will know what I'm talking about.
Mm.
The rest of us know.
Fuck
a bunch
that
of
guy.
shit that you don't know.
Whoever he is.
He's fine. He's just kind of a shitty character.
I want to watch.
Like George Costanza, the way he behaves, he would be canceled now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that. I've been going back and watching things that I loved as a kid, and a lot of it is not okay. Like MXC was just straight up racist a lot of the time.
What is that?
MXC, the Most Extreme Elimination Challenge, where they took Takeshi's Castle and just dubbed over it, and it was like Jimmy Kimmel
Oh,
and
yeah,
somebody
a
else.
lot of the jokes, were like...
I think we
very,
talked
like,
about the Man Show at one point and how fucked up that was, and how
We did.
it like now they're trying to play it off as like tongue-in-cheek like humor about toxic masculinity, but it was very clearly just toxic masculinity.
Yeah, I would think it would be better to just be honest and say, like, look, like, I really don't agree with that anymore. I wish I hadn't done that. Like, that was all stuff I thought was funny at the time, but,
Yeah.
like,
Because like
now I think it's damaging. You know?
everybody's
Like,
got that.
Yeah,
There's lots of
anybody. I
things.
think most people, especially anybody who's older,
Yeah.
they could probably pull up a Facebook or a Zanga that says some fucking horrific shit and be
Absolutely.
like, I agree with none of this.
Kenny versus Spenny. I used to love watching them. I still sometimes when I'm very high will go back and watch Kenny versus Spenny as like a guilty pleasure. It's just it's completely pointless, stupid show. But like there's a lot of really questionable racist and sexist shit in there that was okay at the time and is not anymore. And I have no ill will against. I'm not trying to call them out, but like fucking. As if they're ever gonna fucking see this. That and then
Everyone's
like
gonna see this someday when they're trying to fucking.
one of my
come
fucking,
after us.
or seriously, one of my favorite shows to this day, Gake no Tsukai. It's this Japanese comedy show, and like it's not okay. There's a lot of shit in there that's just not cool. Like the butt of the joke in like almost every Batsu game episode. they had these show. So a big part of the show was it's these 5 guys, and they have to go through this ridiculous situation without laughing. And so they are detectives this time, they're doctors this time, they're scientists this one time, they're whatever else. And they go on about their day in this situation, and they're presented with challenges and jokes and stupid shit happen. And if they laugh, somebody comes in and like slaps them with a noodle or some shit like that. They get like spanked or shot with a blow dart or something like this.
That's gonna look great on the podcast.
I had
to do it. I'm so sorry.
What'd you do?
I was just scratching very fervently right here.
Into your inner thigh?
Yeah.
Just
sorry.
Extract my dong, my massive magnum dong.
It's not. It's really.
But every single
I would not
game,
have as many problems in life as I do if I had. I'm assuming if I had a giant dong, right?
You'd just be able to get away with more things.
I think. Well, no, I don't know about get away with things. I just think when you have a giant dong, I assume it opens doors. The dong. You can open certain doors with your dong.
It's prehensile.
I don't know. To be honest, sometimes like I'm in this deep dark hole where I just think that all of humanity is a cesspit, and I can't wait to see it be gone.
Yeah.
And it's sad that I won't live long enough to see the last human die, because I would have to be the last human, and then I wouldn't get to see my own death, and it's just... And, like, that's not how I really feel, but today that's how I felt. And I'm sorry.
That's rough, yo.
Y'all are good people. It's not... A lot of great humans on the planet. I can't stress this enough. I love people. I love you. Today, I wanted to see it all in.
We'll get back to that. I'm going to finish this sentence. The whole point about Gake no Tsukai is that in like every major episode, they would have one of them that had to dress up in woman's clothing, and that was the whole joke. And like black people existing in Japan was the whole joke a lot of times as well. Especially like there was one where a black person was a sushi chef, and that was just the most funny fucking thing that they'd ever seen. And so like that's not cool either. Now back to what you were talking about.
I do wonder what it's like to be black in Japan, because I know there are black people in Japan.
I bet it's wild.
And there are people who are black and born in Japan.
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
Yeah. It's not like there's not many, but there's some. But, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. What I was saying is that, like, I'm fine. I need to get into therapy. I need to get into therapy, and I need to find the right combination.
But like, there's like,
I need to combinate my Medicaid.
I think everybody's fantasized about like a zombie apocalypse.
That's stupid.
Like,
that's because they think they'll have control in that situation, and you'll actually have the least amount of control possible.
Right, but it's like if there was this massive, crazy catastrophe, then like we could kind of like reset society.
Yeah,
somehow.
It resets. Nobody has control. Yeah. Well, here's the problem with that though, is that it ends up looking a lot like The Walking Dead, and you've got freaking what's that crazy dude that did the thing that everybody hated?
I never watched Walking Dead.
He like I can't remember. He's the biggest dude, the biggest bad dude as far as I can remember.
Right
I started watching it when he was smashing people with bats. A lot of people stopped watching it. I quit watching it like right before that happened because I just kind of like had stuff to do.
I watched like
and I couldn't watch it, couldn't keep up with it anymore. And then a lot of people quit then because their favorite characters died. But I'm like, I mean, that's a weird reason to stop watching a TV show where people die.
I heard
and can die at any second because it's like apocalyptic.
That's
I was like, that's weird. I understand attachment, but at the same time,
that's one of the things that made Game of Thrones good. That being said, I just didn't
care. Right,
it's up until the end.
But it would be like that. You're not gonna you don't hit the reset switch and like all of a sudden you're gonna find nice copacetic farming communities.
It's actually a horrible fucked up idea.
Warlords will be at the top of the food chain for a while.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason we can even have these conversations about making a better society is because of the society we've managed to create.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something to that.
Yeah.
Like, it's good that we've gotten to where we're at.
Yeah.
Because, people don't understand. If you hit the reset switch on society, it sounds cool at first, but it's actually
fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a
because
wild
then
thing.
you're essentially saying like, okay, now it's back to the strongest.
Yeah, exactly.
And the people with the most food and the most shelter and the most people who can fight and the most people who can take.
And then it's a struggle for equality, and then basic like everybody. Yeah. By the way,
you do reset society, but you technically reset human evolution.
Right. It's a technological, for sure. By the way, that That's the long and short of Marxist theory, is in terms of like archaeology. Was like from the very beginning, somebody had a big stick.
Yeah, we
and then
talked
there was a
about this
struggle for power.
recently. Yeah,
Yeah, we did. I'm just saying,
it's
like,
just a slightly
it's
different
relevant.
perspective on history.
As opposed to the whole, like, one of them was enterprising and made a thing and everybody just got better altogether. It was no, somebody was an asshole and we've been trying to make it better ever since and we haven't succeeded. But fucking, how did you do last month, computer? Don't fucking ask me questions while I'm recording. I heard fucking so I watched
Fourth
the first,
wall broken.
I watched the first 4 episodes of The Walking Dead.
Integrity is ruined.
And like I enjoyed the first few. I got to like they were at like a farm, and then they weren't at a farm anymore.
Yeah,
and
that's the first
it.
couple episodes.
I think that's like the first season. I don't know.
Herschel.
Herschel was
Herschel.
Yeah, I remember that guy. But I stopped watching it just because I got distracted, and I heard everyone told me that everyone stopped watching it because it just became the same show every time. It was bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Oh my god, they're all gonna die. Episode ends, and then the new episode begins. We solved that problem. Woo! By the skin of our teeth. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Oh my god, we're all gonna die, and then the episode ends, and it was just the same thing over and over. And like
that's kind of what the zombie apocalypse would be.
I
like,
just
though.
watched. Like I just
To
started
be
watching
fair.
it like a couple of months ago, and
That's
then I stopped.
life.
And like I don't
That's
know.
life.
It was just
Life is bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Oh my god, we're gonna die, and then whoo, barely made it.
Mm-hmm.
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
Yep. That's about right. That thunder, man. It's coming down out there.
It's gonna be really nice on the podcast.
Yeah.
The people who love the show will be able to sleep to this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put us on, and put yourself out, and we'll just hang out.
Put yourself out. I'm sorry that I yelled earlier about wanting it all to be over for everyone. I'm dealing with a lot right now.
No, it's fucking. Life is life. It sucks.
Intrusive thoughts are the worst, you know?
Yeah.
Because you can't do shit about them.
Yeah.
And they'll put you in a horrible Maybe you can do something about them. I don't know. Besides die. I know dying fixes the intrusive thoughts.
The whole system with like, especially if you're dealing with like any kind of suicidal thoughts or self-harm thoughts or anything like that.
It's not even that. It's just like shit you don't want to think about.
Well, that's what. Yeah, I'm just saying.
Sometimes
Like,
it's that bad, but like I really don't. I'm very fortunate in that I don't have to deal with like suicidal ideas very often.
I don't mean necessarily as far as actual suicidal ideations. I just mean as far as like if you utter the words like I don't want to deal with this anymore, which is a truism.
Trigger warning.
Then that would be like something that you would be carted away and
we're talking
forced
about
into
mental illness.
Yeah,
and some of the stronger parts of mental illness. If you have issues with that,
yeah,
like, you know.
But if you vocalize that, if you're honest about that to a healthcare professional, you will then be fucking
carted away,
forced into a situation where you are heavily medicated and have all your rights taken away from you for several weeks, so that they can make sure that you're happy.
Yeah, I especially wouldn't do that on the record. But it's not even like that. It's literally like things I don't want to think about. It's stuff I'm trying not to think about for the sake of my own sanity.
And you don't think of a pink elephant, yeah. And it just is not going to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the damnable misery
It's
of
like,
intrusive
ooh,
thoughts.
there's
Is
this
that, like,
horrible thing that I remember and I don't want to remember it. And why am I remembering it right now when I need to focus on this thing? And why
because
can't
you
I
know
make
that'd be
it
the
go away?
worst time to remember it. And the more you try to fight it away and shove it down, the more tangled up you get in it. You know what I mean? It's like the fucking story of the. Did you ever hear the old fable of like
fucking parable from Forrest? My
I fucking
favorite.
love parables, dude.
I know you. That's why we're friends.
Yeah.
Because Forrest likes stories and I like stories too. I just don't remember them.
Just crazy. There's this story of like these two monks. There's like the apprentice and the master monk, and they're walking down the road, and they just find this like little river, creek, pond, body of water. And the master monk is like, I want a drink. Go get me a drink. And the guy goes over, and as he goes in, like some wildlife splashes into the water and to get away from him and stirs up some mud. And he's like, hey, the water is now murky. I can't take any clear water out of here. And the master's like, just push the mud down. Just push the mud back down to the bottom. And so he does, and the more he does, the more it stirs up the mud, and he keeps going and going until the water's just fucking disgusting. And he's like, I've been trying for 20 minutes, and the more I push it, the worse it gets. And he's like, okay, let's just hang out and just enjoy the shade and the cool breeze for a while. And they sit there for a little while until finally all the sediment settles down and they're able to take clean water off the top. And the idea of the story is that shit happens in your life and it makes a mess, and the more you try to shove those feelings down, the more they're going to be crazy. And sometimes you need to just let your mind fucking be and let yourself deal with it for a little while, because the more you try to fight off your emotions and fight off the bad feelings and try to not think about a pink elephant, the more you're going to get tangled up in this awful situation where you're really unhappy. And sometimes it's just better to let yourself fucking be human and process it, no matter what that looks like.
The problem is that we're not monks. We live in a modern society, and we have fucking...
The problem is always that we're not monks.
Yeah, and we have very little time
to just let our minds be.
Yeah, it's like if I'm like at work and a guy's like, how much does this cost? And I'm like, I'm trying to deal with something right now. Can you just give me a minute?
We have to slap on that fucking happy mask, yeah. Yeah, that about a bitch.
And that's what I'm saying. So I need those pills, man, that are gonna give me that mask.
Yeah, man.
I am gonna see if there's a combination of something though that might help me.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna get checked out, see what's going on in the old noggin.
It's not happy pills. It's just
no, I don't want happy pills.
It makes you stable enough that you can sort the shit out, so you don't need the pills.
If
anymore.
I need
sometimes some people need them for long term, but that's fine.
Forever.
Yeah, but that's just a different way of being. You know what I mean? I don't want to disparage that.
You just need them. Yeah, when you're on them, you're fine. Yeah. So
your shit doesn't work right. You take medicine to make it work right. Same thing with people who have fucking cancer.
Well, the problem is that we live in a society where mental illness. The way we view mental illness right now is completely fucked up.
Yeah, it's a real stigmatized.
Any goddamn sense at all. And like even people who are like, yeah, you need to take care of your mental health. They're just like, you need to take care of your mental health. We're still ignoring the fact that someone with mental health might not be able to identify.
Yeah.
When, how, and where to take care of their mental health needs.
Like, take care of your mental health is sort of synonymous with just get over it at this point. You know what I mean? It's just their way of saying, yeah, you handle your problems and don't make them my problems. And like, no.
And while there is some truth to that, like, we can't have everyone running around making everybody's problems all the time. Like, if someone's going crazy in the public square...
Yeah. Well, it's like fucking somebody... Like,
and we're all just like, oh, man, there's somebody that they need to go get some help.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, no, they need to be taken to help at this point.
Yeah. Well, it's like somebody...
They need help.
Somebody in a wheelchair comes up to you, and they're like, hey, I really need a ramp. I really need an elevator. This is all stairs. And you're like, hey, man, you should take care of your legs so you can get up these stairs. It's like, you're missing the point. And I realize I should take care of my I am doing that. I also need societal change.
I think the problem comes from this idea, which I think like if you have a normal functioning brain, and I'm totally talking out my ass, but I'm just gonna spitball here. If you have a normal functioning brain, quote unquote normal function, normal functioning brain, right? Then if you're having a mental health problem, like you're depressed or something. It's a chemical imbalance, but it's usually being caused by something in your life that you're either not doing, not taking care of, or something like that. Now,
and that dysthymia, situational depression, or is that seasonal
And here's
depression?
the thing: is I think you can have that, and then also have the problem is there's not like you just either this or this, right? You can have that going on and still have mental illness that's untreated. And need certain medications. Like, it's such a big thing. It's like, it's not just, the mind is so complex.
Well, in the same way your body is,
like,
you know?
So, yeah, exactly.
You can't be like, yeah, well, I took this aspirin for my sore shoulder, but somehow I still have the flu, and it's not good. It's like...
It can take a while to work it out.
Yeah.
Like people could be trying different medications for months, and they could be experiencing insane symptoms while it's going on.
And that can cause more trauma.
So if they put somebody on something like fucking crazy, and it doesn't, I don't want to say crazy, because I think for everybody, I think the way the medication works, some of it will work for somebody.
Yeah.
But like certain ones will also totally ruin someone's life.
It's like thyroid medicine.
And when they take it,
thyroid's such a big part of your metabolism.
And when they take it ruins their life for like a week or whatever, and then like... That's still their fault.
Yep.
And it's like they were on a medicine that was prescribed by a doctor because we were trying to help them. Mm-hmm. Like, that's like shit I've seen happen. So,
And the amount of people who fucking don't take, like, doctors who
Also,
don't
you were
take
talking
mental
about
health.
thyroids. I don't remember what it was when they put me on some kind of thyroid medication one time, or like a steroid or something. And they said it ended up messing with my thyroid. It made me go crazy.
Yeah, it's a huge part of your metabolism, and
I don't
it'll
know
have
why.
emotional effects, like physical effects, like everything. That's what people who have like their thyroids removed for like cancer or whatever, or if they have a thing something like Graves' disease, which is like a autoimmune disease that attacks the thyroid. There's a lot of those, but like yeah, getting on those proper thyroid hormones and balancing that out, it's crazy. Like the amount of shit that you have to get it just perfectly dialed in so you don't feel fucking insane all the time. And the amount of fucking doctors that don't take mental health care seriously is madness, especially for women and especially for women of color. These things are ignored, and then you have serious mortality rates and serious, further.
Do it
fucking,
again.
What do you know? Are you stopping things?
Serious mortality rate. Yeah, we need to move it maybe just like
That's fine. Yeah, move it wherever
literally
you
a hair.
Yeah.
There we go. That should be good.
Hair it on down.
Infant mortality rates.
That's not what I meant, but like, yeah, that's a different thing. That is also especially affecting the communities of color. But like, yeah, there's these fucking issues where people like when a guy comes in and says I'm really depressed, blah blah blah, they're taken more seriously. If a woman comes in and says I'm really depressed, blah blah blah, oh you're hormonal, you're whatever, and they just kind of pass them off. And if a woman of color comes in and says I'm depressed and need this and that, well you just want medication, you're crazy, you're hysterical, whatever. And like there's these stigmas really compound in the medical community, and not a lot of people, like even medical professionals, will not realize how much they're playing into that, and it's a problem. You know what I mean?
I don't think anybody really takes mental health,
Medical health.
mental health very seriously.
It's hard in this country because it's just not taken well, and like it is. I don't want to say it's a uniquely American problem, but just like school shootings, it is a very, very, very American problem. And most of the rest of the world has this figured out. At least, the global north, which we usually compare things to. And so, like, in Canada, I'm pretty sure mental health care is part of their, universal medicine. And so, like, you can go, if you are upset about something, or hurt by something, or traumatized by something, or whatever, you can go see a psychiatrist the exact same way that you could go see an oncologist if you had cancer, and like it's all covered, it's all free, and that's radical. I don't know much about the Canadian healthcare system, but I know it's better than ours. So yeah, like, it would be really nice. It would be
we
really
just don't
nice.
have anything like that. The problem here is like even if you have like like state or federal insurance of some kind, like it's really wacky on what it covers.
Mm-hmm. Amber and I were talking about moving out of state, and like we were talking about other states to move to, and I was comparing and contrasting like cost of living here and there, and like all these wonderful places that I want to visit. And more and more and more I think about it, I think if we're rich enough to move to another state, I might just want to fucking expatriate and go somewhere where we can make sure that we're not going to die at 60 because I couldn't afford to see a doctor and had an infection. You know what I mean? Like,
You better just make enough money.
right. That's the whole thing. Dude, I saw a person the other day who's like fucking, well, if I'm a doctor, you're not entitled to my work and entitled to my, knowledge and expertise. You need to pay me, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's a really weird way to say poor people don't deserve to live.
Well,
To
that's
say, like,
also not. They don't. When they take their oaths and shit, they
Yeah.
they actually say the opposite of that.
Yeah, well, they're going on this whole tirade about like, if you want to be healthcare, you better work. I have to work for blah 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, cool. Children born with healthcare problems don't need to go get a fucking job
No, their
to support
parents.
it.
Their
It's like,
parents should be rich.
right? That's their fucking fault. They were born into a poor family.
That's
Dumbasses.
the other thing too. Is like, how can everybody be rich? They can't
Mm-hmm.
all be rich. So if everybody can't just work hard, this doesn't make sense. It's never made sense.
It really is a weird argument for what they think socialism is.
Yeah, like everybody can't be rich because there's not enough. Like nothing works that way.
Then if everyone had the exact same, we wouldn't be having this argument, and then there wouldn't be a point to say, well, you need to pay because we already
They're
all have
like-
the same.
But they're like, if everybody works hard enough, then everybody can have good jobs, and everybody can have like that's how they. It doesn't work like that. So
Mm-hmm.
what are you gonna do? Also, there's that whole thing with AI.
Yeah.
there's more articles coming up now, and like people are. Now we're gonna start talking about it.
About AI?
I'm trying to talk about it for years, but now we're all gonna talk about it. We're all gonna act like Ben doesn't know about it.
What?
That's what we're gonna do. Artificial intelligence and robots taking over jobs, and universal base income needing to be a thing for poor people so they don't riot and all this shit. Like I've been talking about it for years.
I hear you. I'm right there with you.
Years. I've been saying, and here's the thing, is I even talked about this with somebody else like recently, I think, and I was like, I think there are a lot of people that you'll be able to retrain to do different jobs. I also think there are a lot of people that you won't be able to retrain to do new jobs because you just won't. Like they were cut out, they were doing a certain thing for so long or whatever, and it's just too hard for them to go into a new field or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And like, what do you do with them?
Well, it's the same thing we did with the people, the switchboard workers that are now out of work because we have like, automated cell phone companies and shit. Those switchboard workers don't have a job anymore, and that's fine. The telegraph workers don't have a job anymore, and that's fine. Like that, anytime we expand and make things better, people are going to lose their jobs, and new jobs will be a thing until eventually
not
we can
with
all
the
shut
fucking
the fuck
robots,
up
guys.
That's what I'm saying. That when we automate things more, there's going to lose jobs. It's always been the case. But new,
but we're about to
jobs will
automate
happen.
like everything, bro.
Yeah, that sounds rad.
I know it sounds rad because maybe we'll get some leisure time back or something. It sounds really fun. Do you think they gotta make a UBI? It's not going the way you think it's going.
Right. No, I think
like if there's no jobs and you don't have food, like what do you think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
What are people gonna do? There's already not really enough jobs.
There's not enough anything.
Like there are, but there's not.
Ugh. I don't know.
I'm not saying people need jobs. I'm saying people need UBI.
No, I agree. I am agreeing all the way. I think that jobs is not the focus of
jobs.
I think the jobs should not be the focus
of the pocus.
Because I don't fucking it just needs we need to do
okay, so
better.
Forrest thinks that there just shouldn't be jobs, I think is what he's saying.
Yeah.
No jobs.
No jobs. I think that it would be radical if we had UBI that was like enough to actually cover a decent living, not just like bare minimum shit, but that actually food, water, shelter, healthcare was all covered 100%, and education as well. All was covered.
And also you still had enough left over for like an Xbox.
And to do some shit. Yeah, just to hang out. And then if like when you, because the argument is always, well, then no one will do anything. Fuck that. If I had nothing but free time, I would be just focusing on my dreams all the time. I would be just focusing on school all the time. I would be just doing whatever. If I didn't have to worry about the bills being paid, I would be doing totally different things. And so imagine
we'd actually probably have a humongous increase in all kinds of shit.
Society would transform overnight if everybody got to just follow their dream and build and do and like learn whatever they wanted to. We would have so many new inventors, so many new fucking innovators, so many new CEOs, so many new
like,
entrepreneurs.
People don't need an 8-hour a day, go to every 5 days a week job to like be happy. That's not that's an old idea that doesn't make any sense because it was propaganda.
If they were doing it for themselves, it would be a totally different thing because you never work harder for anybody than you do for yourself. And like fucking, if you work and on something you're passionate about and it fails and you can still eat, then you're gonna have people that can continue trying new things over and over and have totally different innovations, totally new, exciting, cool things. So like, I don't know, man.
Commercial break,
I think
man.
that oh shit, it is a commercial break.
Commercial break, man.
Yeah, commercial break.
Right in the middle of Forrest's Renaissance talk.
Fucking
Renaissance.
Right I do have a thing to say as well at the end of this. So commercial break is happening now. And I pushed it. There it is. The whole thing.
All you do is push it.
Mm-hmm. The whole thing is that right now, like one of my favorite quotes that in like Stoic philosophy is always talking about like time is the one thing which we should be very stingy about because it's the one thing that we cannot invest, cannot save, cannot get any more of.
Yeah, it's actually, I love that.
Yeah, and so like when we're talking about a wage job, we're talking about, however much per hour. What we are doing is we are renting out our lives. We are renting out. You get 8 hours of the only time that I have left. I'm going to give you 8 hours of it. And I need you to give me this much money so I can now eat and live more. And that's fucking, when you really think about it, it's fucking insane. And it's even worse when you figure in the fact
I would
that,
say it sucks, but it was a necessary step, but it's time to leave it behind.
exactly. Like, it made sense in its time. It didn't really ever make sense, but in its time, you could make the argument.
It worked for a while.
It's like
I
when we
think
look at any
built-
shitty part of history.
Yeah,
like,
we built a lot on the backs of people using this shitty system, but we got really far. But we
it
won't.
is now time to
we
leave
can't
the
go
cradle
like
this
we
way.
won't be able to go past this point.
Yeah.
Like this, and if we do, it will just be horrific.
Yeah.
It'll be a horrific nightmare version of what we were supposed to become.
Right. And so, like, when you really dig into it, now we have people who are working for insanely low wages, like the $7.25.
Very long hours.
$7.25, I think, was the minimum wage.
It's still the minimum wage. It might be $7.50.
It is. No, it is. But I think that became that in the early 2000s, if I remember correctly. But, like, you go back.
Yeah,
like,
no. When I started working, it was $6.25, and then it went up
Yeah. And so, like,
$1.
it hasn't changed at all in the past however many, like, 10, 20 years. And yet,
That's
like,
where the shoulder
CEO
pain is.
pay
It's
and,
right
like, the
there.
billionaires and all those things have increased exponentially. Like, we have trillions and trillions more dollars sunk into that. And so inflation is continuing to go up. The wage is not. And that's why everyone's like, well, if you raise the minimum wage, it's going to drive inflation. The minimum wage hasn't increased in this time, and yet inflation still has been going on. So clearly, inflation's going to be a thing anyway. And just like literally every single time we raise the minimum wage, or when we started the minimum wage, and the argument was, well, that's going to make inflation, clearly that isn't the case. Just like every single time, you will be wrong this time. So we have people working at these insanely low wages where now they have to work several jobs. They get treated like shit. They hate their life. They're fucking miserable. They don't get to pursue their passions. They don't get to go to school. They don't get to see their families, nothing. So rather than just trading your time, your life, the little bit of time you have left, you're trading your dignity and you're trading your humanity. You are renting out your humanity in order to live and try desperately and dream about a time when you get to just be a fucking human and go do whatever you want to do with your family and explore the world and live and just eat and not worry about how much food costs for a second. Like, the fact that we are fucking weird hairless apes that evolved to fucking jog across Africa and fucking eat zebra meat and find berries in the wilderness, and now you took these fucking apes and shoved them into boxes of concrete and told them sit here and stare at these papers for like 40 years of your life, and then maybe you can die comfortably. And that's the situation we have going on, like, in relatively no time at all.
Yeah, fuck that.
It's fucking nuts. And when you really boil down and think about it, I personally think just the concept of capitalism is fucking insane. Like, overall, it is madness what it is. And I think, like, when you look at most governmental systems, you will also find similar insanity. I'm of the belief with any with any kind of power, with any kind of authority, with any kind of system, it should be able to be justified. I think that you should be able to challenge it. Like, say, for example, the police, right? The police have every organization has a mission statement. We are here to do XYZ thing. You should be able to challenge it and say, okay, prove to me that you are worth existing. Because you are taking something from me. You have the right to kill me or pull me over or throw me in a cage or tase me or beat me or whatever because you think I'm doing something that you don't like, right? And people will probably believe you and take your side no matter what because it's a propaganda machine, whatever. But I am giving this person the right to carry a gun and make life or death decisions with human beings. What are you giving me back? And the argument is, oh, I'm keeping you safe, or I'm upholding the law, whatever. Okay, cool. Let's test that. And if we don't find that it's doing the thing properly, if you cannot stand up to the scrutiny, if you cannot answer the challenge of prove to me that you're worth it, I think that thing should be done away with. I'm not saying it should be completely abolished and nothing in its place. It should be rebuilt, because sometimes the system isn't worth tweaking and saving. It's worth destroying and rebuilding something new. So, like, I'm not trying to get off on this topic right now, but, like, when you look at the police, are they doing the job that they say? Like, do they stand up to the challenge of being worth it? A massive, like, well over, I think it's close to fucking 90%, a massive amount of crimes from, murder to petty theft, nothing happens. Nobody ever gets caught. No. I've had my car broken into a couple of times. I've had electronics and lawnmowers, things stolen. Nothing happens. They show up and they say, what do you want us to do about it? I don't know what is it. They don't prevent crime. They show up after the crime happens. I'm being stabbed. I need to call the police. We'll be there in 45 minutes and see what we can do. That's not helping anybody. Sometimes they might prevent crime. If they're in the right place at the right time, they might stop somebody or catch somebody. But usually they show up after the crime happens. Usually they have to investigate, and that usually doesn't work.
Yeah, I think there's like how are they going to prevent a crime?
A few thousandth of the rapes in this country actually end in actual jail time.
Well, that's because that's okay, but this
how many police departments? Look this up at home. Look up the police departments around the country that destroy literally tens of thousands of rape kits because they're taking up too much space in the evidence locker. So rather than investigate, they just destroy the evidence so they can put more pot in there.
Problem with the police departments and the rape kits. I just think, but we also got to remember, like, if we're going to go all the way into prosecuting crimes and keeping people safe and like rapes being punished, like. That's a failure on a massive scale. That's not just the police.
I agree.
Because even if you're a good cop and you investigate a rape properly and you provide the rape kit and everything is done the way and all the evidence, even if you do everything, now the DA has to try the case.
Yeah.
The lawyers have to not fucking get enough evidence to make the woman look like a fucking whore or whatever,
Yeah, they have to do the whole
like,
what were you wearing
yeah,
shit.
All that bullshit that they put poor, like, innocent women through just for being, like, victimized. Like, I don't understand the process.
Well, why are you a victim? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so there's that whole thing. So, like, a lot of times, even if good police work gets done, then the legal system just chews it up and spits out
and you can extend
anyway.
it to that. You can extend it to the whole system.
The whole fucking legal system.
That's a great point. So, like,
it's fucked from start to finish.
Are our prisons, like, does the populations within our prisons reflect the actual diversity and population of the country, or is it almost exclusively one ethnic group in there? Do we still have Do we still have, like, almost literally and sometimes very literally slave labor inside prisons where a lot of military equipment and beauty products and shit are made at, like, slave wages, which is an oxymoron but also not when you think about it. As you get that whole factory town situation going on. Anyway, do we have a justice system that is actually effective at, like, making life better overall? And if you can challenge this system, this is all just an example, so I don't want to get any further into it, but, like, if you can challenge this system and the system doesn't stand up to the challenge of being able to justify its own existence and prove that it's worth our funding it and sacrificing our rights to support it, it should be dismantled. And it should be maybe reformed if that's worth it, but otherwise not.
It's just like,
I think that should be the same case with absolutely every form of authority, every system, every kind of power.
A lot of these systems are like the American infrastructure. Mm-hmm. They literally, they got us to where we are. And that's all they can do.
But that could be said of anything that doesn't destroy civilization entirely.
We can't destroy civilization entirely, but we also cannot do the same thing anymore. Mm. We're at the point. Mm. We're at.
Well, I'm saying, like, for those people out there who would take what you just said, it got us to where we are, and use that as a praise to say, look, it's worked thus far.
No, I'm not saying
you can say that of anything that hasn't completely eliminated civilization. I'm not saying it worked.
I'm just saying it's, like, carried us to a point where we can stop for a minute and say, all right, is this system, like, a system that we actually need? Mm-hmm. Is it good at all? Does it make any fucking sense?
Yeah.
And it doesn't.
It does not.
None of it does, but especially the fucking legal system.
It's absolute lunacy. It is absolute lunacy.
The government doesn't make any sense. It's all broken and old. It's old.
It's very old.
It's got to be updated. Buffer it. No, wait, that's just fixing something that's already there.
Buffer.
Buffer it out.
Buff.
I don't know, man. You tell me.
Tell you what.
Tell me the solution.
Oh, syndicalism.
He doesn't know.
Revolution through, like, uniting workers and seizing the means of production, and then overturning governmental regimes that are clearly just for the benefit of a few bug-eyed salamanders in Silicon Valley and Capitol Hill, and anybody who eliminate money in politics and make sure that people who take money in order to run a better campaign and then do jobs for the people who give them money are not allowed to be in office anymore, because that is the literal definition of corruption. And then, not have a whole government built on money and power over others, and also make sure that the government is, like, reflective of the civilization that it is governing. So, like, if it is like 80% white male billionaires in their 60s or up, then maybe that isn't actually what America is, and we should get rid of that.
Here's something that's something we actually could work on. That could actually happen.
Yeah.
And most of what you're saying, I don't know about. That could actually happen. You could have a more representative government. It'd be very, very easy.
Yeah.
Very easy.
Mm-hmm.
Now it does. I don't know how you do it without making it sound sort of like segregation sometimes, but maybe we need, like, because, like, there's this whole thing with, like, okay, like, what if you have, like, the African American community vote for an African American representative to go to the like,
Yeah.
and then so on and so forth with, like, Hispanic leaders, they can elect an official amongst their communities, and, like, that would be, like, a cool thing, but is that, like, is that a thing you want?
Well, there's a difference between saying, like, no more white people and
I'm not.
let's
yeah,
have
and
less.
I'm obviously not saying
Right.
that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You're saying, as far as
white people would send some people too.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. There will be some white people and some other and, like, you don't want to go fucking Rwanda on it and be like, we'll have every ethnic group be represented based on the representation.
Is that, like, it's
population.
hard. I think the reason we grapple with these concepts so much and why it's so difficult is that people don't want to, like, idealistically in America, we don't want to admit that there are ethnicities, because that in and of itself to some people seems anti-American, because we're all American.
Right.
Like, a lot of people have grown up with the same idea that we're all American and it doesn't matter, it's the melting pot, all that shit, which is good to an extent, but the problem then comes from you're colorblind.
Yeah, that was going to say, that usually is
seeing,
where that goes.
Yeah, so, and you're not seeing the like, oh yeah, like, it's actually not that cool. So,
Yeah.
like, cool idea, not executed poor, executed very bad.
Yeah.
So, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's wishy-washy. It's all very wishy-washy and confusing, especially if you're a normal person.
Big old wish-wash.
You're just trying to, like, watch the game or whatever.
Yeah, man.
I don't know. What do they do?
Fucking unions.
No, you can do unions, but that's, like, unions are very much like a part of the capitalist framework.
It does play into it, but it's a step in the right direction, because at the end of the day, it's a step towards workers controlling the means of production. Also, I think every corporation with more than, like, X amount of people that makes it a big, quote, corporation.
I just think
have, because every corporation, if it's I think if you're incorporated, you have to have a board of directors. I'm pretty sure. I think that
they should have worker representatives.
Yeah, every board of directors for a corporation must be at least 50% made up of people who actually work in the company.
With the people,
like, at the lowest levels possible.
The problem is that, like, you have a board of directors, it's 12 people. It's not hard to get 6 workers on the board of directors to fucking sell out the company. And that's because I think that's the problem with all this shit. People suck. People fucking suck. They'll fucking sell out their best friend of 50 years, like, fucking, because they're gonna get a bigger bonus. Like, sorry, Pete, I had to do it. I know you guys are gonna lose your home.
Right.
But you see the fucking Porsche that they gave me?
Right.
to sell out the company.
Maybe it should be a thing where like the workers side of the board of directors is an elected position from the workers. So like the board of directors is 12 people, at least 6 of those people have to be actual workers in the company, and they need to be representing like each level, I guess, like an entry level versus a middle manager.
If you sell out your company, your severance pay has to be the exact same as the janitor's severance pay. Mm-hmm. That's a rule. That's a new amendment.
Also, I think that if a company is going under and having a hard time and like doing things, I don't know if you can make this a law, but like I think that if a company is going poorly or losing money, if they're going to fire, like lay off or like downsize like more than X% of their employees, they like have to justify it. Otherwise, that should be like salary should be taken from the top instead of jobs from the bottom. Like that should be a thing you should be able to investigate for like workers' rights board. I think that
you could make regulations like that.
I think that we should give agencies like the EPA and like OSHA and shit like that, we should give them some fucking teeth, so that they can actually
guns.
like
just give them guns, like real guns.
I just saw you pollute that river. But yeah, like they should have some teeth to actually do something.
They're not supposed to just immediately shoot them. They're supposed to
they should be
apprehend them first for us.
They should be run only by like qualified professionals who have like proper formal education in the thing. So like the fact that like I think like Trump instituted the EPA, the head of the EPA was like a fucking oil tycoon.
Yeah, well, that's a problem in America. That's like our that's a big cabinet elections are a huge fucking problem. That needs to be fucking sorted out now, mate.
Yeah.
We need to figure out how to fix that, because like president comes in and they're just like, yeah, I got all my buddies. My friend fucking doofus over there, he runs the goddamn environmental agency.
Yeah, I got doofus and goofus in front of the HUD and the fucking yeah. So like that's you should have like at least an environmental science degree for that. Whatever, I don't know, something.
That's what he did. Who did Trump make for the national? Oh God, for the Housing Foundation.
It was Housing Foundation. It was Ben Carson was Housing and Urban Development.
Yeah.
Yeah. A guy who knows nothing about anything. A man who thought that the pyramids were grain silos got to tell people how to live. And like, just, man, I don't know. Not all about it.
Dumb.
Dumb, big old dumb.
I was thinking of Herman Cain, but that's a different guy. Herman Cain had the pizzas.
Yeah, and then he died of COVID.
He ran for president.
He died of COVID because he attended.
Wasn't he running though?
He did run, and then he attended a rally here in Tulsa and caught COVID at a rally where they gathered together to talk about how COVID's a hoax and died from that, and then everyone just moved on and ignored that was happened.
Here in Tulsa, yeah.
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
I'm not even I'm kind of bummed that he died here from that. He didn't die here.
No, but he caught it.
He caught it here. Yeah. I'm sorry. That sucks.
It does suck. I'm never happy that anybody's dead. Yeah. Like, fuck, bro. Like, you made this bed, and then you literally had to lie in it.
Well, I'm not sorry about that. But I don't fucking know, man.
Can we all fucking also, as far as
Can we all just agree
concerned,
that I'm gonna be unapologetically fine with people being dead?
Can we fucking, as far as COVID is, can we fucking all, like, as a society, start agreeing?
No.
I want to try. Like, at least on social media, right?
Half of society disagrees with you, Forrest, because you're you.
Right. When we're talking about vaccines, we're fucking, god damn it, we are 2 years into this. When we are talking about vaccines, it was for a longest time, hey, let's try to talk this out. Let's figure out the science behind it. We'll talk about we're talking about masks. It was the same thing. We're talking about social distancing. It's the same thing. 2 goddamn years into this, it is very clearly just an ideological, political, dogmatic issue at this point, where people are like, I am not going to wear a mask because a liberal told me to. Like, can we stop allowing the conversation to be about tone? Can that be, because I understand it's going to be a political conversation, but just, can we please, I've heard so many people this week alone, like, trying so hard to be nice, and then, like, somebody gets in the comments, and they're like, well, you're just being a bully. about this, and like now I'm definitely not going to wear a mask. I'm definitely not going to get the shot because you're really just being rude about this whole thing and fucking like, oh, millions of people died, but I got bullied on the internet because I refused to do the one thing that all the doctors and scientists agree would be helpful. Man, poor me. There's over 5 million children that have been orphaned by this. Oh, but you know what? They said mean words when they did. Can we please stop allowing that to become the conversation where we have to
Forrest,
justify?
they don't believe any of this shit happened.
I'm so sick of that being where the conversation
They
goes.
don't believe that it happened.
Like, I'm fine with that argument. I'm just so sick of the argument of like, well, we have to be nice about it. No, we fucking don't. We're 2 years in.
Who has to be nice?
It's a debate constantly about like how to teach science properly, and usually I'm on the side of I try not to be an asshole unless I know for sure I am losing this person. Like, when you're teaching and somebody is very wrong and they're doing a thing, you have to be very nice and like help them understand and like lead them along and like show them, because that's how you would treat a human being. And it's very important to humanize and be respectful and like get this person to where they need to be educationally without treating them like shit or making them feel stupid.
Okay.
But also there are people who just are not going to listen to you, and they're like, no matter what you say, I'm never going to be blah blah blah. And so you cannot bring them closer, so you push them further away on purpose by making fun of them in order to make an example of them, and that brings other people closer. The people who are on the fence see how badly you ridiculed that one person, and they're like, oh shit, that actually is really fucking stupid, and then they come to your side. So you always have to ask when you're doing educational shit, who am I speaking to, and what is the point of what I'm doing? So sometimes even when I'm talking to this person, I'm not actually intending to reach that person. I'm reaching everybody else to show them how stupid this one person is. It's rare, but it's what, like Reacteria, sometimes what I do that with. I think that the argument now is still, when people aren't getting vaccinated, we need to be really nice about it and like try to bring them over to our sides, and I'm fine with that. But I hate the conversation being, well, you were being mean to me, therefore I'm not going to get back. Fuck you.
Oh, well, I think if anybody says
matter.
you were mean to me, so I'm gonna be...
Like, we are so far into this, and every fucking doctor and scientist in the world is telling you one thing, and I don't want to, and like, just fuck you. Fuck you. You are the reason this is so hard. You are the reason this is still going on. You are the reason why this is awful, and it's still happening. It's your fucking fault at this point. Every time you don't wear a mask, every time you don't get the vaccine, now we are all at risk more, and then you're gonna sit there with your fucking smart face on, like, duh, but yeah, you telling me that me not being protected makes you not protected? That doesn't make any sense. And it's like, you literally just don't fucking get how anything works, and it's only because this is political. You would not treat any other vaccine this way. You would not treat any other medical advice this way. You would not treat any other situation this way. It's just because of now.
You're talking about a group of people who are skeptical that the fucking moon exists.
Somebody said heavy metals, and now you're all pissed off. Ugh. I'm so sick of that being the conversation.
They don't believe anything.
It's insane.
They don't believe anything.
They believe that Trump's still the president, but that Biden being the president is why the gas prices are so high, but that also Biden isn't in control, but also he is. It's madness. It's madness.
That's because they don't know anything. You're not going to reach it. You can't save anything. You can't save this world.
It's madness.
You cannot save this world, Forrest. I'm telling you, everyone throughout history that was like you, they always end up in the same spot. You're going to build a shack out in the woods, and you're going to draw on papers all day until you die. Maybe a government will put you on house arrest.
Yeah.
They might deem you too cool to kill, but a little too revolutionary to let live. So he's going to have to stay somewhere with cable.
I thought you just meant I'd go fucking crazy and go get in a shack in the woods and just scrawl madness on papers, and someone would come and fucking find all these crazy scribblings.
No, it's kind of the same thing though. Like if that's what they did with like Leonardo da Vinci, right? Didn't they put him on house arrest towards the end of his life? Somebody was on house arrest. That's not him. It was fucking Galileo.
Yeah.
He was on house arrest. They were like, you can keep coming up with shit, but you stay here. If the Pope sees you outside, he's gonna flip.
Oh man.
It's just crazy. I just think that's where you'll end up, is on some sort of government paid house arrest.
That'd be fun. Y'all.
They're like, Forrest, you can keep making your YouTube videos. Keep acting like everything's normal. And maybe we'll let you live.
It's been a weird episode.
It's been a great episode. Fuck Forrest. Forrest is a douche.
Yeah, he is.
Guy. He's a kind of funny guy. He's a funny looking guy over there.
Yeah, funny. He's a weird little guy. I'm gonna edit this and get it uploaded.
Nah.
If it is Sunday the 24th, which is when this goes up, you watch me on Talk Heathen if you're into that kind of thing. Yeah, we'll listen to you, or we'll listen to you. We'll see you guys, and you can hear our voices next week when we talk about some other dumb thing. Let us know in the comments.
That's broken.
If you've ever
It's broken.
organized screws and nails.
Oh, okay. Thought we were going somewhere else with that.
Oh. If you ever had to like sit there and just organize like little small tools and parts like screws and nails and things, if you ever had to do that, and how was the experience for you?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
And don't forget to never trust anyone.
Anyone. Never
Ever.
trust anyone at all.
If you love them, trust them even less.
No, they're the most likely to
do
hurt
anything,
you. They get you.
something. They're
Yeah.
they're closest to you, so they'll hurt you the most.
They're gonna get at you. You don't know what they're
Turn your heart into stone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
trust no one. Don't even love your own children if you have any.
You know what? Honestly, though, of all the people that are
They'll
the most
hurt you
likely,
the most.
real true fact, your spouse is the most likely to murder you.
That's 100% true.
So like that's not
So
even.
you
a
gotta
joke.
get
It's
them
like-
first.
Yeah, exactly. Always have a plan to murder.
I feel
everyone
like
in your
one of
family
us
and have
should
it
be
ready.
saying like no, and one of us should be saying to murder them. We're
We're
saying.
both telling you do not.
I just
trust
think for the sake of argument,
your
like
loved
we should
ones.
probably, one of us should probably say don't do it, so we can say it was a.
I never said killing it. I
It
said
was
have a
a
plan.
joke. Have a
Be
plan.
ready.
Just be ready.
Be ready, because
Just be
they're
prepared.
probably coming for you. They might not, but they probably are coming for you.
Listen, buddy, she's coming. She's gonna get you.
You're gonna get you.
You're not
You gotta
ready.
be careful. It'll change you if you survive. So you don't want to deal with.
If
any
you have a
reaction.
wife, she's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
If you
She's
have a
she's waiting
husband,
for the moment.
if you have a husband, he's 100% gonna kill you. I'm pretty sure like 99% of wives or something like die from their husbands.
Oh yeah, no, husbands.
I don't know the statistics.
They do the
but
whole
I think-
family annihilation thing where they
No,
kill
that's
the
a
wife
different
and the
thing.
kids so they can run off with some young piece of ass that they found on Tinder.
Whoa!
That's a real thing. That happens all the time.
On Tinder?
Husbands are family annihilators. They'll
Husbands
destroy-
are not like by default.
All of
family
them
anni-
are. All of them are, and they just, only some of them don't do it. Is all.
Only some of them
Don't trust
do it.
any. If you have a husband, don't trust him. If you have a wife, she's going to kill you. If you have children, they're watching you while you sleep, waiting to peel the skin off of your face neck. Just be careful, is what we're saying.
And I'm Ben.